promise not to laugh if I tell you something?
No?
I've been having these really weird dreams lately about this beautiful girl with long hair and amazing eyes.
Yeah, so you and every other guy.
Yeah, but it's so real. You know, I've never seen her before, and I can't stop thinking about her. And she looks a lot like that girl over there.
I don't normally put spoiler warnings up in these videos. This show is over 30 years old. The statute of limitations have long passed as far as I'm concerned. However, to talk about this episode is to pretty exclusively talk about its twist and other works with a similar twist. And I personally believe this is a top 5 episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? One of its best. So if you've been meaning to give this series a try, I'd recommend watching this episode first, if you're in a space where you can handle the topic of grief after a loved one has passed. At the time of this writing, it's easy to find on YouTube, albeit in a gross, stretched out widescreen format. The Tale of the Dream Girl is the 10th episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark's 3rd season, the 36th episode overall. Originally airing on March 26, 1994, the episode was written by David Preston, who you may remember as also having done the teleplay for The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. And it was directed by David Winning, a very prolific television director who's worked on shows from Friday the 13th the series to Earth Final Conflict to Lost Girl. He also directed the Power Rangers Turbo movie. Are you David Winning, son? As told by our storyteller Sam, the Tale of the Dream Girl concerns Johnny, a teenage handyman working at a local bowling alley, along with his sister Erica, who's a waitress. Johnny's really struggling to get people to notice him. His boss seems to brush off the work he does, his mom has been really distant lately, and the girls who come to the alley to bowl won't give him the time of day.
Hi, Cheryl. You don't know me, and I don't know how to say this, but,
Do you guys hear someone talking to me?
I don't see anyone. Must be your imagination. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Must be great to be so perfect.
yeah.
One day, Johnny finds a mysterious ring in his locker. He casually slips it on and finds it won't come off. Soon after, he begins to have vivid dreams of a teenage girl in a Letterman's jacket. We later learn that her name is Donna, and she seems determined to connect with Johnny. Johnny finds a note from her to meet her at the bowling alley after midnight. When he arrives, he finds strange people wearing anachronistic clothing, like ghosts out of the 1950s. Finally, Donna arrives.
It's almost time to go. I want you to come with me.
Where? You just got here.
But it's almost time.
Better hurry.
Oh, it's too late.
Too late?
I'll wait for you, Johnny.
Wait, for what?
It's only after this encounter that Johnny learns the truth. Donna is a ghost. Her and her boyfriend died when their car stalled on the train tracks. Donna keeps pursuing Johnny, and Johnny keeps pushing back because, girl, you scary. Eventually, Donna gives up, and the ring finally slips off Johnny's finger, who decides to leave it at her grave in hopes of some kind of closure. What he finds there changes everything.
You remember what happened? The car stalled on the tracks, right?
No.
And then Donna got out, but she forgot her ring. Her school ring, and went running back for it.
Donna!
Yep, Johnny was a ghost this entire time. Donna was his girlfriend. It was his car that stalled on the train tracks, and they both died in the accident. Only Erica has been able to see Johnny this entire time, and she's kept quiet about his fate because, well, she gets to have her brother back. But now it's time to let him go. It's time for Johnny to reunite with Donna and move on to whatever awaits them. The Tale of the Dream Girl isn't scary. There's no monsters, no jump scares, no horrifying imagery. It's mostly brightly lit, almost to a soap opera degree, and the soundtrack is light and occasionally jazzy. Instead of being a scary story, it's a story that aches. that lives in a space of grief from multiple perspectives. There's Erica having to finally let go of her brother, something most of us who have lost close loved ones can relate to. How many of us would buy into the temptation if we got to have our loved ones back in our lives, even if it meant lying to them about their reality, even if it meant hiding the fact that they were ghosts? And then there's Johnny and the grief of being dead. You may be able to come to terms with the fact that you'll die someday, and you may have beliefs as to what happens after you die, but actually facing death is still pretty terrifying. I'm not thrilled by the idea. If I had the option to put my brain in a robot or something, I probably would, but that's not going to happen. So like the rest of us, I'll have to take my last breath and walk into the abyss. Are You Afraid of the Dark is commendable from not shying away from death. It's infrequent, but this is a children's show where kids are occasionally killed by monsters or have to come to terms with death via ghost stories like this. Tale of the Dream Girl takes on death head on in a way you just don't expect from children's television. Of course, the twist of Johnny's true nature is very well done. There's a lot of early scenes of people ignoring Johnny that are recontextualized with the twist, and there's a good amount of misdirection. The 50s aesthetic on the ghosts in the bowling alley and Donna's Letterman jacket makes you think this is a story about lingering ghosts out of time. That a girl from the 1950s is haunting Johnny for some reason, probably because he found her ring and she's confusing him for her old boyfriend. I appreciate that the newspaper article Erica shows Johnny pretty much gives the whole thing away. It names Johnny in the accident and everything. But this was 1994. No TiVo, no pausing live television. You weren't going to be able to read all of that in time. It's just a cheeky little thing thrown in by the production. But on the subject of that twist, one of the first things people bring up about this episode, and by people I mean fan wikis and dubious IMDb trivia, is how it must have inspired M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense 5 years later. A rumor so persistent that actual reporters have brought it up while interviewing the director, and just... no. It didn't. It clearly didn't. The plots are completely different, and the "they were dead the whole time" twist is almost as old as ghost stories themselves. Arguably, Ambrose Bierce's 1890 short story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, fits the mold. There's the 1962 film Carnival of Souls. Heck, R.L. Stine beat Nickelodeon to the punch by half a year with The Ghost Next Door. Sharing a trope is not proof that a work was inspired by another, or that a work was ripping off another. The parts of our brain that notice patterns just went into overdrive for some people, and they made up this narrative. Leave M. Night alone, nothing's happening here. However, a work directly lifting the plot from another work? That's another story. The Tale of the Dream Girl is directly inspired by the 1959 song Teen Angel by Mark Dinning. Are you Mark Dinning, son? The song is basically the entire backstory of the episode. Two high school sweethearts are dating, boy gives girl a promise ring, the car stalls on the railroad tracks, they get out but the girl goes back for the ring.
Teen angel, can you see me? Are you somewhere up above? And am I still your own true love?
Teen Angel was very popular, reaching number 1 in the Billboard charts in early 1960. I personally think it sucks. It has all the energy of NyQuil and basically boils down to, sure sucks my girlfriend's dead. It's really no mystery why Elvis Presley took over the way he did. 50s popular music was pretty dire. However, the song did inspire one of the best episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark, so it gets a pass. Bringing it back around, Teen Angel is no doubt the reason for the episode's odd 1950s aesthetic, which isn't just the bowling alley scene. Johnny's got a bit of a greaser vibe too. The Tale of the Dream Girl is a sad, mature piece of children's television, one that tackles the topic of death and grief in a way that doesn't talk down to its young audience, and leaves you pretty affected by the end. I'll admit, it left me a little teared up. It just stays with you. Of course, it's not indicative of the entire show. It's not scary in a let's put this on Halloween kind of way, and Are You Afraid of the Dark leans towards a more goofy fare more often than not, So don't expect the whole show to be like this. But as a single half-hour story of loss, grief, and ghosts, it's hard to do better. How well does it fit in with the Sardos and the Dr. Vinks? Well, that's for a larger video. This was just a sample.